Before filming our trailer, we conducted a questionnaire which gave us information allowing us to get to know our audience better, while also finding out essential data into how to attract our audience. We asked our target audience a range of questions into the codes and conventions of a psychological thriller, such as what lighting would be most effective and the adequate location, being a rundown place with dim lighting or modern with high key lighting. 44.4% of people voted for a rundown location with dim lighting, so we took this on board and added it into our product. Linking to liberal pluralism theory, this highlights the power of the audience, as they had a great input into many factors of our trailer. Furthermore, we also asked about the importance of lighting. 96.2% of people argued that lighting plays a big role in films, which allowed us to place more thought into the lighting in certain shots. We felt it was essential to get to know our target audience better to play to their interests by asking questions such as what their favourite genre of film was. The majority, being 22.2%, voted in favour of psychological thrillers. This was key to our pre-production, as it meant we stuck to the conventions of psychological thrillers and didn't stray into other genres. The audience feedback was essential in pre-production, as we knew what was needed to attract a large audience, particularly as this was a way in which we identified our target audience being 16 to 25-year-olds. This was also important in finding out what was needed to improve the quality of our product, such as props, and to ensure the trailer took into account the information taken from our audience feedback. In our audience feedback survey, we sought to find out the most effective location to use for our trailer, as well as what is needed to create a successful film. We thought it was necessary to ask questions such as, is a film more successful if it has a larger budget? In which 37% of people voted no, and even gave an example being the film Get Out, which was highly successful with a lower budget. Other questions asked were, do you think props are important in films? 81.3% voted yes to this, allowing us before filming to buy the necessary props. I posted the questionnaire on Facebook, Twitter, and to all contacts on email, allowing us to reach a wide and diverse audience. This mainly reached a younger audience of 16 to 25-year-olds due to the usage of social media, primarily being younger ages, but through email we received a large amount of responses from older people. The most influential question asked in our pre-production survey was, what do you expect from a psychological thriller? This was of great importance to us, as it let us know the effect psychological thrillers had on audiences, and we wanted to convey this in our product. The most popular response was to be shocked at the end. We applied this to our trailer by adding in a suspenseful ending, which would not have been suspected by the audience. Furthermore, we also asked whether there should be a twist at the end, in which 96.2% voted yes, and thus we added into our trailer. Our target audience is primarily 16 to 25-year-olds, as we feel our product appeals to a younger audience, particularly through its complex narrative. This was made clear in our questionnaire, as the high majority of ages were 16 to 18-year-old students, as well as those in their 20s, and we shaped our trailer to their interests. I presented the first draft of our trailer to the 6th form at our school to receive feedback before completing the end of the piece. This was very helpful, particularly after the screening when I took people aside to give feedback and criticism to improve the trailer, which I acted on straight away. This is the feedback we got. Do you understand the plot of the film? What would you say is the narrative?
So a guy gets drunk, he gets kidnapped by someone, we don't know really who it is yet, and then he has to try and escape from where he's been kidnapped.
Very nice. Did the trailer make sense? Was there any suspense to you?
There's a lot of suspense, yeah, it was good.
Oh, very good. Do you think a voiceover is needed to add to that to make it more clear what's going on?
I don't think so. No, okay. I think it just would take away like the suspense and
yeah, good.
And the tension.
Is the soundtrack effective? In what ways would you change it?
Adds a lot of suspense. I don't think I'd change it actually. I think
no, very good. What would you change about the trailer if you could change anything?
Not much actually. I don't think I'd change anything to be honest.
Thank you very much.
Oh no.
Okay,
there's one
thing. Yeah, go for it.
The ending. You need to shape up the ending.
I know.
Apart from that,
yeah, we've got a little bit more to do. What genre do you think this trailer is?
I think it's definitely horror, but I think it can be thriller / drama.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Would you want to watch this in the cinema if you saw it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I think
nice.
it looks very intriguing.
Oh, thank you. Last question. Were the cuts effective in creating suspense amongst the audience?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you understand the plot of the film? If you could describe it, how would you?
I found it a little bit confusing, but obviously someone got drunk at the beginning and I thought that he then kidnapped someone, but then I was a little bit confused about what character was doing what.
Thank you very much. How do you think we could change that?
You might just be able to use like more text, maybe describe more what's going on. It might make it a bit clearer as to who is who.
Yeah, very nice. Do you think a voiceover is needed to kind of sharpen the plot? Like,
I think it would ruin it.
you think it would ruin it?
Yeah.
Okay, good, nice. Is the soundtrack effective, do you think? Or,
Yeah, I
or do
like
you
the
think-
soundtrack, and that's maybe why a voiceover would take away the suspense. Really.
Okay, nice. What genre do you think the trailer is, if you could just...
I would say horror or like a thriller.
Nice. Would this make you want to watch it in the cinema if you just saw it on
definitely.
YouTube? Oh,
Yeah, I
very
would.
nice. Okay. Were the cuts used effective in creating suspense amongst the audience? You know, like the fade to black type thing?
Yeah, it was, because it helped create a mystery because you didn't show too much what was happening, but maybe you could just make it a little bit clearer.
Do you understand the plot of the film? What was the basic narrative, if you could just describe it?
Someone gets drunk and kidnapped,
Yeah?
and he's trying to find his way out.
Yeah, good man. Did the trailer make sense to you? Did you feel suspense while watching it?
Yeah, I felt suspense.
Very good, very good. Do you think a voiceover is needed to make you understand the plot better?
Not really, no.
Not really, okay, good. Is the soundtrack effective, and in what ways would you change it, or not, if you think it's good?
I think the soundtrack was quite effective.
Oh, thank you, Sandra. What would you change about the trailer if you had to change anything?
As Henry mentioned, the ending was a bit...
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Sandra. Would this make you want to watch it in the cinema if you just saw this trailer?
Definitely.
Thank you very much. Were the cuts used effective in creating suspense amongst the audience?
Believe so, yeah.
Do you understand the plot of the film? What was the basic narrative, if you could quickly
So
summarize?
I believed it was guy gets drunk, possibly dies on the street. Well, I thought he died and then went to, I don't know, heaven, purgatory, something like that, some bullshit like that.
Yeah, they're very
and
nice.
he has to find some person called Hope.
Yeah, nice, like that. Did the trailer make sense? Did you feel suspenseful while watching it?
I did feel a bit of suspense
Oh,
there,
yeah, thank
especially
you.
when he started talking to the person at the desk.
Oh yeah, nice,
Okay.
thank you. Do you think a voiceover is needed to kind of like make the plot seem easier to understand? Or?
Not really. The voiceover would take away suspense.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, very nice. What do you think about the soundtrack? Do you think it was kind of effective?
Soundtrack was very effective.
Thank you.
Could be improved a bit probably, but
Yeah, we were
still
looking
very
at that.
good.
Thank you very much, Will. What would you change about the trailer if you could just tweak it a bit?
Well, the ending is obviously not complete.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of any changes.
Oh, thank you very much, Will. What genre do you think this trailer is? If you just saw it,
Thriller,
thriller. Very nice.
possibly horror.
Thank you.
Just thriller mainly though.
Yeah. Would this make you want to watch it in the cinema if you saw it on YouTube or?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, thank you. Were the cuts used effective in creating suspense amongst the audience? Like, the fade to black after you've seen?
Yeah, they were good.
Thank
They brought up a lot of suspense, as like when I said with the person at the table.
Yeah.
That brought up a lot of suspense there.
Do you understand the plot of the film?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. What was the basic narrative? Just like tell me what happened basically.
Well, this guy gets drunk, gets kidnapped and falls into a coma, and then psychopathically thinks he's trapped in somewhere.
Yeah, good man. Did the trailer make sense? Was there any suspense you felt?
I felt a lot of suspense for the whole thing.
Oh,
to be fair.
very good. Thank you. Do you think a voiceover is needed to like add to it? To like help you to make it clearer the plot?
No, I don't think so. I
You
think,
don't think so?
yeah, if you put a voice over it, just decrease the tension.
Yeah, good. Is the soundtrack effective? In what ways would you change it?
It was effective, but I think that could be used to increase the tension and
I like
suspense.
that, yeah, thank you. What would you change about the character trailer? Is it just the sound or were there other bits you could?
I think I'll just change the sound to be
Yeah, great. What genre do you think this trailer is?
horror, thriller, sort of thing.
Would you want to watch this in the cinema if you saw the trailer separately?
Yeah, probably be a bit scared of watching it.
Oh, nice, yeah, I love that. Were the cuts used effective in creating suspense amongst the audience?
Yeah,
Like fade to
I think the cuts could be more like precise and
Oh, nice, I like that. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much.
After sharing my magazine front cover and poster on social media, I received feedback from 4 people on social media, which was very helpful in adding the finishing touches to the product, particularly through the magazine front cover, in which I received advice to add more graphics, which we complied to. Furthermore, many people complimented the work of the magazine front cover and poster, mainly crediting the house style of both being red and white on the front cover and black and white for the poster. Due to receiving compliments about the house style, I kept the red and white for the front cover and black and white for the poster, while also adding more graphics after receiving feedback, as said before. By changing the design of these products because of what people say, it allows the audience to become prosumers as they contribute to the marketing campaign, and also by receiving feedback this could draw in a larger audience as I complied to the likes of the target audience, which in most cases would be the same amongst all. Particularly through the magazine front cover, I added in features which attracted a wider audience. On the front cover I included a puff reading Top 20 Horror Films, which entices the audience as it would draw them to the magazine wanting to read more. Furthermore, I included cover lines such as Olney exclusive and Anchorage text reading Inside Olney's Madhouse. This gives the audience subtle hints into the plot of the film, which would create more excitement for the film while also gaining a larger audience. The masthead was the same as the poster, being a drop shadow, highlighting the disorientation of the protagonist, giving the audience insight into the genre of the film. We named the magazine Your Film, as this fits in with the common magazines such as Total Film, and with the Your, due to its minimal lettering, I could put this inside the F of film, creating an effect common amongst other front covers, adding to its professionalism. On the poster, the house style stood out, seen through the feedback from our social media pages. Being of black and white, this links to the poor mental state of the protagonist. Furthermore, the drop shadow used on Locked In also portrays the disorientation of the protagonist, which will furthermore draw in an audience.